up, Foresiders? Welcome back to Defortification, the channel made by geeks for geeks. We cover 4 topics that happen in geek culture this week, and then we discuss them in a show we call Boom! Geek Fights, and then we have a little bit of fun during our geek out. So let's get it started and go over to This Week for Geeks.
So starting off on This Week for Geeks, we had highlights from the Tokyo Game Show. One of the games that actually stood out to me was finally we're getting an Attack on Titan game. And for all you anime fans out there, hell yeah, Attack on Titan. How long have you been waiting to use an omnidirectional suit? How long have you been able to slice through the neck or any of the tendons of a Titan? How long are you waiting until you see those gruesome sequences where all of a sudden you're dead? Well, right now we have some footage from the 8 minutes of gameplay that they did at TGS, and oh my god, I'm so excited. Take a look. What did you guys think of the footage? What other games came out from TGS that you're very excited for? We had a lot of announcements, including PlayStation VR. Man, I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait. Oh.
So if you're like me, you enjoy some anime. One anime I've been watching a lot recently is Fate Zero and Fate Zero Stay Night. And it's really great, kind of a medieval, modern day action anime. Great thing about it is actually some of the weapons and some of the characters that wield these weapons. Well, Man-at-Arms Reforged just recently did a brand new episode where they covered Excaliber, the sword held by King Arthur herself. It's in episode 1, not a huge spoiler. Anyhow, this sword is beautiful. It is absolutely amazing, and they go through and completely forge this weapon. You know what? I'm gonna give you a quick taste. Check out the clip.
This is Man-at-Arms Reforged.
To make Saber's Excaliber from Fate Stay Night, as well as the rest of the Fate series, I chose to make my own steel.
The sword of promised victory and the embodiment of Arthur's virtue has now been summoned.
The way they built it, the different type of metals they use, the craftsmanship, absolutely stunning. And every week these guys put out a brand new episode with a new sword from game, anime, just overall geek culture. People put in their suggestions, what they want to see. I highly suggest seeing this channel. Season 2 is the Reforged season. Season 1 just as amazing. So if you get a chance, head on over to Ami, Man-at-Arms, and really check these swords out. You're gonna spend 5, 10, 15 minutes an episode. Clear a whole day, you're gonna watch them all.
Batman v Superman looks like it's going to kill in the box office next year. Well, Screenjunkies, on their show Movie Fights, gave their guests a challenge. That challenge was to pitch their dream sequel for the next Superman movie. Max Landis did not disappoint. In his version of Man of Steel 2, Lex Luthor is being played by Tom Hanks. Lex Luthor and Batman are having a moral dilemma fighting for the loyalty of Superman. Also, Superman accidentally forms the Justice League by capturing each and every one of them. Alright guys, I don't want to spoil it too much for you, so I put a link down in the description there for you. But I want to know what your guys' dream sequel is going to be. Mine's going to be Fantastic Four 2, because it's going to have a cast that has chemistry, and a director who actually shows up sober on set, and a villain. No, I mean, just a villain, because basically Dr. Doom was a space mummy. Anyway, what's your dream sequel?
Oh. My turn again?
Yeah.
Anyway guys, Foresiders, we're coming in to the best time of the year, which is the end of September. All the shows are coming back. 2 of the big ones that I know just came back this coming week are Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Gotham. 2 real big hitters that were kind of hit and miss in their first season, but really taken off at the end. Gotham, they're bringing all the villains in. Anybody you can think of from the Batman universe is there.
What about Mr. Freeze?
Who the fuck is Mr. Freeze? They've even hinted to what's going to be happening with Batman, with Catwoman. You name it, they've hinted at it. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they've done so much character development to make sure that there's continuity in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
They built a team to defend the world.
What is happening to me?
Against the very ones they fight to save.
We call ourselves Inhumans.
You've got Sky, aka Daisy. How's Coulson gonna be after he lost his arm? And oh my God, Ward. Ward is exciting me. Not that way.
Where's Simmons?
He's dead.
She.
Oh, this is something that, has been highly debated lately, actually. You've got Marvel on one side killing it in the TV universe, but you've also got DC. And actually, that's our topic of conversation for BOOM! Geek Fight. So here's what's happening. We've got Erik, the Baron Bridgefarmer, fighting for the side of DC versus Matt, Cador, Finch, fighting for the side of Marvel. They're each going to give their opening statements. I'm going to ask them each a couple of questions, and they're going to try to sway you, the jury, and let us know who won. We just said Erik was going first. Go ahead, Erik.
All right. So I'm defending DC as the best for TV universe. And here's the reason why. Currently, we have Arrow, Flash, Supergirl's coming out, and Gotham. These shows are dominating television. They're doing superheroes unlike anybody else. There are top ratings and extremely excellent writing. But before that, we also have the golden animated shows. Like Batman the Animated Series was probably one of the best cartoons ever done. The fact it was all done on black paper to give it that dark, gritty tone, that just was amazing. And it brought new characters to the entire DC world. They invented Harley Quinn for the show. She is now one of the most popular Batman villains of all time. The current version of Clayface that we see now is from Batman the Animated Series. Other great shows. We went into Justice League Unlimited, all done by these great voice actors that we now know and portray permanently with these characters. Mark Hamill is a quintessential Joker. He is the voice that everyone thinks of. He invented the perfect Joker laugh. And then before these, we had the classics. Can we say the original Batman show? I mean, cheesy, yes, but for its time, there was nothing like it. You had Cesar Romero as the first time we saw a Joker on screen. We have Eartha Kitt as Catwoman with her incredible voice. And then we can go back to the original Superman, black and white, George Reeves. This was the first time we saw superheroes from comic books on television. It set the tone, it set it. And I think with the rich history we have with DC lineup and television, DC dominates, it kills.
I like your points. Matt?
All right, Marvel. The reason why Marvel dominates is because it has consistency with its characters. They had so many chances most recently to do Miles Morales Spider-Man, but instead they stuck with Peter Parker because everybody knows Peter Parker. We know the origin story, so it eliminates the need to show that a new origin story every time. So if we're talking about great TV series throughout the decades, yeah, right now they have Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but going back even further, they have the X-Men 90s animated series. They have X-Men Children of the Atom from the 1980s, which was pretty good. It had an Australian Wolverine, but it was actually a really well animated series and a great story. In the mid-90s, you had Ultimate Spider-Man, you had Avengers, the Earth's Mightiest Heroes. You have all these amazing series that brings in the large dynamic group of villains that they have. They have believable villains. Doctor Doom, Magneto, Mr. Sinister, Apocalypse. All these are epic, epic villains. They're also grounded in reality. They use science to explain their superpowers as opposed to, certain other ways that DC does. They're relatable heroes. Wolverine, Peter Parker. Peter Parker has problems. He has to worry about his rent as well as being a superhero. He has to maintain his personal relationships with Aunt May and Mary Jane as well. They're tragic characters. The side characters are important. That's the one thing that, sidekicks aren't just sidekicks. Agent Coulson, Agent Carter, they have deep backstories. They're key and pivotal to the storyline. And they're introspective characters. They want a normal life, but they really can't have it. They don't accept the fact that they're never going to have a normal life. They always yearn for that, which makes more dramatic storytelling. And also, the biggest advantage that Marvel has is it's interwoven with the MCU. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is one example of this, but Earth's Mightiest Heroes, even the X-Men back in the day, they use that power as their advantage.
I like the points you all make here. I've got a couple questions for each of you to, kind of strengthen your guys' points, see if there's something that could really bring it home for you. Erik, because you got to go first, I'm going to ask you the hard question first.
Okay.
Can you defend the weakest link that I would consider from the DC universe, Super Friends?
Of course. Super Friends, the thing is, we're looking at Super Friends now. And people look at it and go, the show is horrible. Well, you're looking at it from today's time frame. If we go back and we look at Super Friends when it came out, it was an extremely successful cartoon series. It was well received, it was watched greatly, it had several seasons. It brought in DC characters we didn't really know of. It created new DC characters. And yes, cheesy. But during the time frame, that was everything. You had Super Friends at the same time we had Burt Ward as Robin, we had the original Batman television show going on, and it matched the tone of the characters at the time. I think to try to judge it now on today's standards on how we've made in television now is to do it injustice. Look at it for what it was, for when it was. I think it was a great show.
I like his points. Hey, I've got a question for you too here, Matt.
All right.
DC's biggest strength, from what I've seen, is the fact that they do provide so many shows. Right now, with the Marvel Cinematic Universe tying into the Marvel TV universe, there's only seems to be a couple shows. Can you explain to me why that's a better reason, or if maybe that's something that DC is doing better?
The best explanation for that would be that Disney money is not an endless pool. All of it's going into the movies. The TV shows aren't as necessary. The Marvel MCU is the most important thing. It's the most successful. It sells the box office. The spin-off shows are not spinning off from each other. They're spinning off from the movies. So you have Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. That started almost immediately after the Avengers movie. It came off the popularity. And the advantage of that is you get consistent stories. So you basically don't have to worry about having these side characters that are the old school B team Avengers. You have the ones from the movie. So you don't have Avengers West Coast or any of those type of characters. So I think it's an advantage, in my opinion, that they don't have all these spin-off shows from their television series. So they're focusing more on the MCU and using that strength because honestly, it's a freight train that's going and they need to keep it going.
I like it. I like it. We're actually going to spin off on that one and give you your next question.
Okay.
The Marvel TV shows and the Marvel TV universe have the strength of the movies behind them. DC has blatantly said that the TV universe is completely separate from the movie universe. Is that something that DC can overcome?
I think that's actually an advantage. You could tell stories that you can't do in movies. Movies need to be careful. Movies need a PG-13 to sell tickets. They can't get into hard R. They can't get into a lot of really deep storylines. That let's take Arrow for a fact. We kind of hinted at Roy and possible drug use. In the comics, he was a heroin addict. That's not something they're ever going to touch on in a movie. They're not going to go into this dark and gritty line, which Arrow showed a dark side that you wouldn't see in a movie. They can also focus on smaller characters that have rich backgrounds that aren't going to sell a box office ticket movie on its own. So I think being that it's separate, they have a lot more they can work with. They have a lot more characters they can work with. They can bring in unknowns that we haven't learned and give them character development, time. Look at what we got going on now. Because of the popularity of shows like Flash, Arrow, that they took these more side characters. Yes, Flash is one of the big ones, but Arrow really is just like a B roster of the Justice League. But because he has done so well, and then take Gotham, you have a show revolving around James Gordon. He's totally a side character in the Batman, but they're letting him go up against the major villains. They're bringing in Bullet, which was a character that was invented in the animated series. Bringing him in. I think with being able to focus on these side characters, you're going to get a better turnout. Plus, I feel they're using the TV shows to create the movies rather than using the movies to create TV shows. Proof in point, we're getting a Booster Gold and Blue Beetle movie. That is amazing.
Show me the reasons why being able to use the big three, as they call them, with Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America, in the actual TV universe, while DC is not able to do that with their Trinity because of what Warner Brothers has done. Mm-hmm. Tell me why that's actually a huge part of what can happen with Marvel.
I think it comes down to the strength of Marvel being able to write from the movies to the shows as opposed to the shows to the movies. I enjoy it when I see a short story that's expanded into a larger story, as opposed to trying to form a movie from a conglomeration of TV series. I would have been much more happy with a Serenity movie into a TV series. So the best advantage of this is that you don't have to be limited in what you're writing for Marvel. They can bring in Iron Man, they can bring in Captain America, which they've already done in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They have had Captain America, even though it was stock footage. They have full rights to bring him in. Or they have, Thor: The Dark World being brought into the TV series. It takes that little glimpse of that large world and makes it relevant. And so a TV series, you always have more meat to work with, as opposed to a movie. You have an hour and a half to tell a story, versus you have a full season or multiple seasons in arcs to tell a full-on story. You get into the depth of the character. In order to do that, you have to have a good character. And that's the problem that DC has, is that they can't bring in their Holy Trinity, their biggest characters. They have to bring in their villains gallery and just hawk them off. So, versus Marvel, who can bring in their Holy Trinity and actually develop more of Tony Stark and Agent Coulson, Agent Carter. Bring those characters in and really flesh them out, which is what you want as a writer and as an actor. Thoughts?
You make a valid point, except the Marvel Holy Trinity hasn't been in any television. Yeah, they use stock footage, okay, but I haven't seen Thor, Iron Man, or Captain America make an appearance in a show. So when I look at it, it's the same as DC, except DC references them as just as much. They talk about Batman and Flash and Arrow. They mention in the crossover like that vigilante in Gotham. And in Gotham, they have Bruce Wayne and Alfred. He's learning and training to be Batman. So they're using Batman, just not in costume. You also have the Rogues Gallery. Batman, and we know it. There is no better Rogues Gallery in all the comic books than Batman's.
Thoughts?
Oh, there's totally not a better Rogues Gallery, I'll give you that. However, the difference is that they have more abilities and they're more open to do what they want to do in the comic books than they are in the television series. To counterpoint to the fact that they have to have a PG-13 rating, that is the one big difference that Marvel has over DC. Deadpool, Daredevil, they can get gritty violence. They can say the F word. They can swear. They can do blood, guts. Daredevil, I don't know, the Kingpin was a lot more brutal than he was. He was pretty much close to his equivalent comic book character because of the fact that they have the ability to go that way. Marvel can take those risks. DC can't. DC doesn't and hasn't, in the long run, ever done a very violent rendition of any of their comics. They can't take those risks because they're stuck with their archetypes. In Marvel, Daredevil, Deadpool, those characters have the ability to be done true justice because they don't have those limitations. I would not be surprised if after they go past Netflix, if they had the ability to go straight to cable, they would. But they have the ability to go to Netflix and do what their story they want to do, and they can go as rated R as they want to go.
All right. Well, I've heard a bunch of things from you. I'm going to each give you guys about 30 seconds to kind of wrap everything up. And then you, Four-Siders, get to decide who won.
All right, so Four-Siders. Let's look at it overall. We can argue back and forth on points and little nitpicks, but the true thing comes down to we are watching these shows because we love them. We watch them because of these characters. And I think overall, we look at the entire history of television, DC dominates, they win, they have the best characters, the best villains, the best story arcs. That's what I'm saying, I'm sticking with it.
30 seconds, go.
All right. First of all, Marvel has consistency with all their characters. They don't change their characters. I don't have to worry about it being Wally West or Barry Allen or John, what's his name, from Green Lantern versus Hal Jordan. I know who Spider-Man is. I know who Captain America is. But more importantly, they're not stuck in the box that is their comic book archetypes, which are True Justice in the American Way. They can get gritty. They can get dark. They can break the fourth wall.
All right, Four-Siders, you've heard the argument. Who you got? You got Marvel TV or you got DC TV? Have you ever been bored on a Sunday while everybody else is watching football? Are you tired of just sitting there on your phone wondering when the game's gonna end?
Yay, sports ball.
Well, Geeks, I've got something for you. Starting on October 1st, League of Legends. Yeah, the game League of Legends, played by tens of millions of players all around the world are having their world championships with their pros. So don't forget to fly your flag. Wear your hat. And best of all, cheer like you're watching football.
That's bullshit! Enough with that. Thanks for watching the show. You can call me Greedo, lady. But never shoot first. See how it works? Yeah. So, you like, subscribe, and you can roll for initiative.